I'm pretty sure I've been deaf my whole life. At birth, the ENT misread my report, and I didn't get an accurate diagnosis until probably around 4, and I didn't get my first hearing aids until around like 4.5. And so I went four years without sound. I can remember like bits and pieces from it. I remember what it was to put the ear molds in. I felt it was weird to have like something in my ear, and then when the sound was actually turned on, it was all overwhelming at first. When you go from no access to any sound, and then suddenly all the sound comes in at once and you can finally hear things that you haven't heard for the first time, it's very overwhelming, but it was cool because I was able to get to hear. Probably one of the hardest parts about being deaf and having hearing aids is when there's multiple different voices kind of overlapping and the background noise. It's harder for me because my hearing aids kind of like pick up everything that's going on behind me too. So it's harder for me to pinpoint on one specific person that's talking. After a long day, sometimes all I need is a break. And so I turn them off and it helps, it soothes me, and it gives my brain a break from all that sensory overload. I have my alarm clock set in the morning. It's a special alarm clock where there's a bed shaker that I put under my pillow. So when the alarm goes off, it shakes the pillow, and so it helps to wake me up. So when I wake up, probably the first thing I do is I put my hearing aids on, and all I have to do is just turn them on, and they're ready for the day. And then normally if it's a school day, I wake up, then I go to school, I do all my classes, I go to lunch. Some of the accommodations I use in class are to help me hear are my transcriber. She transcribes everything that my teachers or my peers say, and she transfers it onto this iPad that I have at my desk. So it's basically live captioning, which really helps me if I just even miss a word. And it's helpful in math too, because even if I miss just one number, it can mess up the entire problem. I also have the access to closed captioning when needed. That greatly helps me because with just the audio, I can hear it, but I just can't comprehend it. I just can't understand what's being said. Without closed captioning, it makes it very, very hard for me to understand or even enjoy. YouTube's kind of stupid. A lot of the times the captions are auto-generated, which is, there's no point in even having auto-generated captions as they like mess everything up. But like when there's no closed captioning, it makes it very difficult for me to be able to hear. And after school, I normally either have high school soccer practice, a high school game, or later that night, I have club practice. On the field, it's just me and the ball, and like everything else kind of just disappears, and it's one of the things that really does bring me a lot of joy. Since I was 9, I wanted to be on the U.S. Women's National Deaf Soccer team. In July, I went to my first training tryout camp, and so it was really cool to learn the techniques that they use on and off the field, and to meet these players and see if this is potentially something I actually want to do. So I think if I keep going back to the camps and getting more training time in, I think potentially going to the Deaf Olympics could be in the future for me. I mean, just because I'm deaf, I can do anything that a hearing person can do, except that I can't hear. So even though I'm deaf, I'm still in all honors classes, 4.0 GPA. I'm still capable of doing things that hearing people are able to do. I just need a little bit of help to get me to that step. I wish more people understood how much struggles and hardships we have to go through, like the amount of auditory fatigue we get just from hearing. Like some things that people can do to kind of help understand is people don't know if they don't listen. If they listen to what we go through, if they try to put themselves into that position, I think it makes it easier for them to understand the concept of it, even though they don't actually have the disability. A lot of people think that being deaf is an easy disability, one of the easier disabilities compared to all the disabilities out there. They think that being deaf, all you have to do is put on hearing aid and it solves all of life's problems. You can hear again. Even with my hearing aids on, it doesn't solve everything, and I don't think they understand no disability is easy and being deaf isn't easy. I'm proud of being deaf, and that's one of the reasons why I picked such brightly colored hearing aids. I'm not afraid to show off my hearing aids. They're something I'm proud of. It's what makes me me, and I wouldn't be who I am now without my hearing aids and without being deaf. Sometimes I think about the what ifs, like what if I was able to get hearing aids earlier? What if I was never deaf in the first place? What if I never experienced discrimination? It's easy to think about all those what ifs, but if you put them all together, I wouldn't change it. If I had a choice of being hearing or being deaf, I would choose deaf. All of the hardships and the struggles I've experienced, I wouldn't change it for the world.